Hi, Drew. How's it going today?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Oh, man, I'm so good. So blessed to be here with you today. And I'm so thankful that everybody is going to be watching this interview because I feel like it's going to be a lot of great points. We talked for a couple minutes before this conversation began. I just feel like we're about to get into the thick of it. People don't even know what they're about to be watching. So yeah, man. Well, let's start a little bit and talk about your hair loss journey, and we'll verge off from there. So take us back to when you started realizing that you were going to be losing your hair, and kind of what you've gone through since that moment.
Yeah, so when I was 18 years old in my senior year of high school, I look at pictures now and I see that my hairline had been starting to recede a little bit. I was getting some corner recession on the temple points, but it wasn't something that I was really focused on. I was just I've never been one that really, until I got into my 20s, I was never really focused on my physical appearance. I just let it be what it is and then tried to be my best self. And that's something I still do to this day, but kind of under a different lens. And when I got into my early 20s, I really started expressing myself visually through my physical appearance, whether it was the clothes I wear or piercings or tattoos or hair, and at 22, that's when I really kind of started realizing that my hair loss, I was noticing hair in the shower, on my pillow, and obviously visually you could tell that it was starting to recede. My forehead was looking massive. And so I started finasteride. I did a bunch of research on Reddit. Man, Reddit is a lifesaver for everything, literally everything. Any life problem I have, I just Google it and then I put Reddit afterwards, and you're plugged into a discussion of it's amazing. And so I was on Trestless, the Reddit forum, and I was hearing about finasteride and minoxidil and how those are really the two proven, you can try holistic approaches and massaging techniques and shampoos and conditioners, but really you need to inhibit the production of DHT. And then minoxidil can help in some men to re-stimulate that hair growth. So I started finasteride, 1 milligram a day, and I did minoxidil as well, just on my side points and along my hairline. And it worked. Minoxidil, for me, I didn't see a lot of regrowth. I even did microneedling as well. I got one of those pins that can make the little, what are they called? Wound. They kind of wound yourself. I mean, it's pretty trippy, dude. It's like a medieval process, but you basically make little micro tears in your skin, and it's supposed to stimulate growth. So I was doing the whole 9 yards, right? And every day I would just look in the mirror and pull my hair back and just look at myself, and then look at old pictures of when I was younger, in high school, and I had beautiful hair, and I was just man, I really don't feel like myself, and I think I saw you talking about that in the video too, and you just kind of shared similar sentiments. You're yeah, when I look in the mirror, I just didn't feel like me, So it weighed on me, and I ended up flying to Turkey for a hair transplant, and it was a 2,300 graft. And usually they don't do hair transplants on guys that young. I was 23 at the time, and I had reached out to some. I did a bunch of research to make sure I was going to one of the best clinics in Turkey and the best doctors. Dr. Kaan Pekinner, he's an artist at his work, but I found him and I reached out, and they said they were down to do it because I had been on preventative medication for the past 6 months. And so they were confident that as long as I continued to do that, after the transplant, I'd still be able to retain some of the hair behind. So that's a big problem. And the most reputable doctors will make sure that you are on some type of preventative loss, regimen before they do the transplant. But flew to Turkey. It was a 16-hour flight, and that was crazy. I was had the middle seat on the way there.
That sounds awful.
It was not fun. It was not fun. But yeah, so long story short, I get the transplant. This is in June of 2021, and so now we're in April of 2022. So it hasn't even been a full year, and we'll get into that as that influenced my decision. But I did the transplant, started growing. The first several months were very, very rough. I was always wearing a hat because basically what happens is after they implant the follicles, they fall out and they have to regrow. And so that was the first time I really saw my exposed hairline with a completely shaved head. And I mean, man, that I laid low. I do social media and stuff for a living, but I wasn't posting. I wasn't feeling confident to like speak my truth to the world, which is all I do on social media. And so, that was a rough stage. And then kind of, fast forward to now, after it's growing in more and more, it was looking great at first, but as it got a little bit longer, I noticed the hair starting to kind of curl, and it was kind of wispy. It was darker than the rest of my bio hair because it came from the back of my head, which was like darker. So you could kind of see like a dark, like, I don't know, man. It almost looks like an old, and this influenced my hair system decision as well. I'm like, my hair kind of looks like an old toupee, like the way it was like formed and stuff. Like it almost looks like I was like wearing like an obvious old style toupee, in my opinion. And so like that was weighing on me, and I saw these hair systems and I'm like, man, these are looking good. And so yeah, like all that just kind of led me to where I am, just to take the plunge now,
Cool. So now you're approximately how long into your hair system journey?
So I got it last Wednesday. It is currently Monday, so we're coming up on a week.
Okay, so like fresh out the kitchen.
Fresh out the kitchen.
Barely baked. Cool. So yeah, like, I mean, what's this going like? I mean, we don't often get to like have conversations with folks that are literally like fresh out of, getting a hair system, brand new to it, the good, the bad, the ugly. How is it feeling so far?
Man, so I'm wearing, this is a full poly base. It's 0.06 millimeter ultra thin skin, and I just got it from Amazon. Like I got the Lord hair, and I got it from Amazon. It was like I had done research on like Levivid and all these MHE and like these other companies that are really good, but I just my plan was to order this Lord hair system, just this stock unit from Amazon, and just put it on top of my head. And like, I didn't, I still had my hair, and I was just like, I'm just going to get this longer hair system and like put it on top of my head. And so I ordered it, and it came in like 3 days later, which was like super fast. And the color just happened to be like perfect with my bio hair. I put it on, and I'm like, holy shit. Like this hair looks more real than my actual hair. This hair looks more real and more healthy, and more, like it looked like how a 24-year-old's hair should look. And yeah, I was just like amazed by that. And I'm like, okay. And then I watched so many of your videos, dude. I'm like the Jake Kent #1 stan right now, man. I have seen all of your, like I was up until like 6 a.m. that night I got the hair system watching your videos before I took the plunge.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was intense, man. It was borderline like
obsessive.
Yeah.
Do I need to be worried that you're not like in my garbage, like getting my hairs and making a little like hey Arnold football head thing in your closet?
Yes, I would be a little worried about that.
Okay, cool.
If I were you.
I am a little worried now. I'm joking. Cool. Yeah. So, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, it sounds like you took the plunge. You're currently a couple days into it, not even a week really. Have you opened up about it on social media?
I have. Yeah. So
okay. How'd that go?
It got amazing reception. It was like one of my best posts I've ever made, like as far as like engagement goes and comments and interactions and positive support. I mean, seriously, what a time to be alive. Like when you share such a vulnerable moment, like literally the day I got the system, I posted on Instagram, and I posted, what I was looking like after the system. And then I posted like the picture of my head shaved with like, the grandpa look. And I just said, hey, I kind of talked about the whole story I've been talking about on here, and how I've come to these realizations at 24 that hair is something I still want to have to express myself. And I mean, the positivity and the support from people, like, hey, you can do, like, as a man, I don't know, it was incredible. I was like, wow, like, I just felt so validated, and it just like really validated my point of why I want to share this and why I will tell anyone and everyone about this hair system. Hey, nice hair. Thanks, man. It's fake. How long did that hair take you to grow, brother? I don't know, 3 hours inside of a barber shop. Like I am totally open to sharing that. And I just love that in 2022, there's so much support. And it just, obviously, even if I put that out and everyone was like, oh, you suck, blah, 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 I would still do it. And I would still, enjoy the process and be confident in who I am. But just like that validation from others was just another reason to like keep being me,
Yeah, I love that. That's so good. I think that, I loved you took what you've already been doing, and then you took this very vulnerable moment. You took this thing that a lot of people are afraid of, and you, I think, probably strengthened your relationship with your audience because of your willingness to showcase that. So you're little less than a week into it, you've showcased it, you've shown people this, it's gotten great engagement and reception by your fans. How do you feel? I'm not sure exactly what I'm asking here, but one of the things that happens a lot on this channel is people will make the transition, but they still don't want other people to know. And I've always tried to preach that I think it's best to be very open about it and to own it. That way one is liberated from having to hide it, having to hide this identity, because that's the bigger problem. Is it's like it doesn't matter if you have to hide something. What matters is if you can't truly be yourself around other people. Did you ever consider keeping it away from your TikTok audience, from your friends or family, or were you always just like, I'm 100% going to be sharing this with the world?
I think I kind of had mixed emotions. Definitely, like when I first started doing the system, my initial plan was like, maybe I should get the system and just kind of cut it to a similar length that my hair is at now. And it'll just look, a little more voluminous and healthy and shiny and beautiful and whatever. And so I was like, okay, maybe I can just make this transition and not tell anyone. But then I really thought about it, and I continued to do my research, and I was like, well, first off, I kind of want to make this jump to long hair right now, because I feel like I'm kind of in my moment. And so I want to look my best in this present moment, because it's all we got. And so obviously, like if I'm making a jump like that, I got some explaining to do.
Sure.
But I was happy with the fact that going to long would force me to have some explaining to do, because then it just allows me to speak my truth, and like be authentic and help other people, and show that like this is something that you can do for yourself. And so, yeah, I kind of forgot the question. My ADD sucks, man. I like go down these terrible rabbit holes, but I think I answered the question.
Yeah, you did. I don't even know. I think I forgot the question too. I was just asking though, if you had once thought about keeping it from your audience, and ultimately like why you decided to just be very vocal about it, which I think you basically answered. So that being said, are you like, how are you kind of approaching the maintenance aspect about this? Are you having somebody help you, or are you planning to do it all yourself? Why?
So I am planning to do it myself. Again, thanks to your videos and your tips and all, and your helpfulness. It's been amazing. But I'm in Dallas. So I drove to Houston because for my research, what I do is I type in on Instagram or TikTok, which is like now pretty much a search engine. I would type in Dallas hair system, Texas hair system, Houston hair system, see what comes up. And Chris Mackey is who the guy I went to. He was the only like TikTok hair system Texas creator at all. And so I definitely reached out to him because of his content, but I looked around and there's only one stylist near me in Dallas that like will do the maintenance and the reapplies and all that. And they charge $150 per reservice, or like, re-cleaning and all that. And I was like, well, I mean, really, like I'm just using tape. So I'll just get some C22, spray it, remove, wash off maybe with some alcohol or some Dawn soap on the top of my head to get all the residue off. Do the same for the bottom of the unit, shampoo, condition it, put some tape along the perimeter, throw it back on, put some like leave-in conditioner and brush it and style it, and I'm good. I will, and I know that that's a trial and error process and there's a learning curve there, but I'm willing to do that. I'm totally willing to do that myself.
Yeah, that's great. So I'd love to I'd love to kind of open it up to you. You know, what do you think is important for people that are watching this channel, whether they're new to hair systems, they're exploring it, considering it, or they just got one, or maybe even have had it for a while? You know, what do you, if this was your YouTube channel right here and you wanted to share a message with them, what do you think that you'd say?
Just say, own it, own it, own it. And be you. And it's hard in a world now where we feel like, especially because the digital age as well, we feel like more perception, more eyes on us, more opportunity to be judged. You know, stuff like this is is vulnerable to do. And, you know, I don't judge guys whether they want to share it with the world or keep it to themselves. That's the beautiful thing about these hair systems is the modern times, like these are virtually undetectable. Like if you have a good install and you have a good system that works for your head and your skin chemistry and all that, like you can choose how you want to present yourself to the world. And if that includes like, hey, this isn't my bio hair, like that's okay. You know, do what makes you feel most comfortable, you know? And I think that that's the ultimate message here is do what makes you feel most comfortable in your own skin. We were all given, you know, I kind of have like this hippie perspective where I'm like, man, we were all given our personal little avatars, right? It's like a video game. Like we were given our character, and some of us are meant to have hair for the rest of our lives, and some of us aren't as fortunate, you know, and bald is beautiful too. Like that's a topic we need to talk about as well. But if you feel like you look better with hair, and that's something that like sets you up into going out into this outside world with like an energy that is helpful to you and those around you, like just do it. So own it, be you, don't be afraid to express yourself, and spread love.
Definitely. Well, I appreciate you sharing all of this information with us, your perspective, how it's going for you. I think one of my favorite things on this channel is bringing people on and having others hear from people that have gone through the journey, through the doubt, through the fear, through the uncertainty, and come out the other side and are happy with a choice that they made. I think it's more powerful than anything that I can ever say to anybody. So I appreciate you coming full circle and consuming the content, and then eventually, you know, kind of becoming the content, because that right there is what we need more of. I can only influence so many people with my persona and who I am, but having people like yourself or others that are different than you really just broadens the net of the fish that we can catch, or we can influence, so to speak. So appreciate you being willing to do that, and I appreciate everybody that's been watching this entire video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, join the Reddit that we got, or just reach out on Instagram, and we will see y'all soon.